Imagine waking up one morning ready to start your day, only to discover that your tap is as dry as the Safari Desert. You try the shower, nothing. You check your own kitchen sink, nothing. Your bathroom taps, and still nothing. It's as if the water fairy forgot to visit your house today, or worse, the entire city. And this isn't just a freak accident. This is happening again. Welcome to Johannesburg, where running water isn't guaranteed, and the service provider is as reliable as a broken clock, if that's even that accurate. Joburg Water has done it again, folks. Another round of we don't know when you'll get water back, but at least they've mastered the art of telling us when we don't have water, am I right? Sounds absurd, doesn't it? But trust me, this is the reality of what it's like to live here. And if you're one of the lucky people who hasn't faced this nightmare yet, buckle up, because you might want to start hoarding your bottled water. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living the plot of a movie, but unlike Hollywood blockbusters, this is no fictional disaster. It's Joburg Water Woos, the real life edition. Forget Game of Thrones. This is Game of Taps, where you wait for the water, and the way you wait for it is the way you wait for payday. And trust me, the water comes even slower than payday. So before we dive into the 10-day dry spell that's made headlines, and as everyone Googling how to survive without water, why don't we take a brief walk down memory lane, shall we? Johannesburg's water troubles didn't begin last week. Oh no, sir. These issues have been bubbling up for years. Much like that one relative who keeps coming to family dinners even though they've overstayed their welcome. Joburg Water, a state-owned enterprise, has been at the helm of this chaos. From leaks in pipes to mismanagement of resources, we have seen it all, trust me. Now, some of you may ask, why does any of this even matter, Summer? Doesn't every city have water issues, buddy? Sure, some do. But Joburg isn't just a city. It's a sprawling metropolis that's supposed to be the financial heart of this continent we call Africa. So how is it possible that we still have water shortages when our city is supposed to be smart, efficient, and sustainable? What are we doing? Relying on the good old bucket system that was last used in the 80s? We all remember those days, don't we? Getting water from your neighbor's tap while avoiding the awkward "I'm here again" conversation. Joburg Water's history of inefficiency has led to this moment, and you and I know that. They've been guilty of not maintaining infrastructure property for years, letting leaks worsen, not upgrading the system, and then passing the buck to the public. Now a shocking announcement. You have 10 days without water, and it's coming soon. 10 days in the city of gold without a single drop. How do you survive that? The last time something disappeared for 10 days without a trace in my case was my Wi-Fi. So here's where it gets real. Imagine this. Day 1, your tap runs dry. You think to yourself, it's okay, it's a small glitch, no worries. Day 2, you start to panic. By day 3, you've already had enough of bottled water charade. But it's only day 3. So you call on your friend in the hopes that they've got water, but their tank is as empty as your dreams of a good society and an uninterrupted shower. You reach day 5 and desperation sets in. You're now running your house like a dry farm, collecting rainwater like it's damn gold. The whole neighborhood is trading their scarce water like it's a new currency. Hey man, I'll give you 2 liters for a slice of bread. Bargaining at the corner like it's some Game of Thrones series. But then it's day 10, and you want to know what the worst part is? This isn't a third world country we're talking about. This is Johannesburg, the heartbeat of South Africa's economy. A place where people proudly drink craft beer in a rooftop bar but can't even seem to secure a glass of water for 10 days. It's a contradiction wrapped in a disaster, wrapped in a shortage of basic services. You want to know what's also funny? This isn't just convenient. It's utterly ridiculous. We are told to cut down on water usage. But do we even have a choice anymore? At this rate, the only thing we're cutting down is our damn dignity. We South Africans have always found humor in the face of adversity. But even this is too much. So how do we cope with this situation? Well, since you're watching me, jokes, because you know someone like me jokes about everything. When the water's off, your friend tells you you can't wash the car, but you can wash your hands in your own sweat. Or why not use the water from the pool? At least it will give you that chlorine glow, you know what I'm saying? And don't even get me started on how we've embraced the phrase "ish" in this country. Water's off? Nah, it'll be back at around 7 o'clock-ish. The traffic's a mess? Nah, you'll be fine at around 10-ish. I'm stuck in traffic. I'll be home by 7-ish. Joburg Water, meanwhile, says we'll be back in 10 days-ish. The constant we have are things are always late, and no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to admit it. And if you really want to experience the real South African spirit, just listen to the conversations at your local spaza shop. Oh yeah, my man, the water's gone, bruh, but we're gonna survive, man. Just 10 days. 10 days, bruh. More than 1 week. We used to do this in the 80s. No running water, no problem, bruh. My grandmother's got a bucket for that. And we're here in 2024 acting like water's become some luxury item you only get in a Nuzalo series. Now let's talk about something even more sinister. The cost. Joburg Water's recent shutdown is costing the people more and more inconvenience. It's robbing us of our basic rights. We're not talking about a free coffee from Starbucks. We're talking about the essentials. When you're paying your rates and taxes, you're essentially signing up for a service that is supposed to deliver water and sanitation. What you're getting instead is a lesson in patience and endurance. The government and municipal authorities claim this issue is temporary. Temporary? So you're telling me that no matter how much I pay for this water, the system is so outdated that 10 days without water is what I should expect. 10 days is the least you could do. What's next? 2 weeks without electricity? Actually, I'm not surprised with that one. That's not temporary though. That's a lifestyle change. I feel like Joburg's water system is that cousin who borrows money every month but never pays you back. We've had enough of the broken promises, okay? And you thought the stories from your childhood were bad. When you had to fetch water from a neighbor's well, this is 2024 and people are still fighting for water like it's the Royal Rumble. And whoever wins, instead of winning the WWE Championship or main eventing WrestleMania, they'll get unlimited water. Remember the time earlier this year when half of Johannesburg went without water for days? People were forced to find creative ways to survive. They were filling up buckets from fire hydrants. They were using the neighbor's swimming pool water, which, let's face it, no one should drink, but hey, it was survival. And even asking strangers for water like they were sharing a secret stash of diamonds. The desperation was so palpable. Everyone was in it together. Yet everyone was also secretly trying to outdo each other in water gathering. It was the funniest thing ever. Some people walked with JoJo tanks on their heads. Others used plastic bags tied to their cars to catch water from leaks in the roads. The whole new form of water harvesting was born that day out of necessity. This was no longer a matter of convenience. It was a community survival tactic, like in The Walking Dead or It's The Last of Us. So here's the bottom line. We are living in a time when innovation and technology are supposed to make life easier, not harder. We are told we are a developing country. But at this point, developing sounds like a euphemism for perpetually stuck in the past. Cities around the world are using technology to monitor water usage, detect leaks in real time, and fix pipes before they burst. But here in Joburg, we're still using paper maps to find the problem spots and playing a never-ending game of whack-a-mole with broken pipes. 10 days without water in a city that prides itself on being a global financial hub? Pathetic! That's ridiculous. If you tried explaining this to anyone outside South Africa, they think you were either autistic or talking about some dystopian future and not the present. We can't even get clean water consistently in Johannesburg, and yet they want to make us feel like we're the ones who need to save water. How about saving our sanity first? How about saving our money first instead of spending it on all those luxury things? Now, regarding all of this, it's hard to not draw parallels between this and modern day slavery. You finish school for these people to enslave you. Imagine. And then they dictate when you get water and when you don't. So if we're not paying for underwhelming services, we're paying for things we don't even use. Paying for water while simultaneously being told we don't deserve it when we need it the most. It's like paying a subscription for Netflix and then being told, oh sorry, your account's been temporarily suspended because our servers are down for the next 10 days. But you still have to pay the bill at the end of the month. Goodbye. When a city controls when you get electricity, when a city controls when you get water, when a city controls even when you can use the internet and the bathroom, it feels like you are living under the thumb of an oppressive regime. That sound familiar? Except in this case, the oppressors are public officials. With government cars and extra clean water at their disposal. This sounds familiar, man. So, here's how to survive 10 days without water. A survival guide. Because I know many of you watching this found yourselves in this waterless hellscape. So here's your survival guide to survive this 10 days of hell. Number 1, become a water hoarder. I'm not joking. You need to turn your bathroom into a water warehouse. Get buckets, get large containers, even bathtubs if you can. Okay, treat water like it's the last Coke. Every drop counts. Remember those days when you had to turn and run to the corner to grab some milk? Now you'll be doing that to find any water. The way you used to run to the cooler shop to buy sweets, you have to do that for water. Number 2, embrace your inner survivor. Channel your own inner Bear Grylls. Go on a quest for water. You'll become so resourceful, even MacGyver would be jealous. When the water's off, you'll start finding creative ways to access it. Believe me, I saw people do that. Maybe you'll even drink from your neighbor's pool like you're living in a post-apocalyptic thriller. Just don't tell them you did it, because let's face it, no one really wants to admit they drank pool water on purpose. So yeah. Number 3, network like a pro. In South Africa, the concept of community becomes a lifeline during these crises. Trade water for food. Hey man, I'll give you 10 liters of water. 10 liters for a loaf of bread. Water becomes more valuable than gold in these cases, and everyone becomes a dealer in the underground water market. The man-made underground water market. Number 4 is re-evaluate hygiene. Because let's face it, waterless means no showers. You guys were not gonna bath for 10 days. So start the new trend, the freshly sweat shower on TikTok. Just carry around a mist bottle to spray your face, and that's all. Let's call it the waterless glow. A new beauty trend where only the bravest and biggest influencers will embrace. See? Number 5, stock up on bottled water. It's like Black Friday, but in a crisis. When the trucks arrive with bottled water, it's your time to shine. You're going to run like John Cena and get in line early to avoid fighting your fellow South Africans over that last 6-pack. Water is gold right now. Treat it like how Cyril treats his iPad. Treat it like an investment. Number 6, pray for rain. The weather gods might look favorably upon you and send you a storm your way. This might be the only time you're not cursing the clouds. So when it does rain, when it does happen, it's your chance to take the buckets and fill the buckets and take a deep breath. Maybe you can even do the happy dance, because let's face it, that'll be the city's best hope. And now it's easy to see why people are furious. We're not just talking about one incident. The long history of neglect from Johannesburg water is a glaring problem. The fact we can't even rely on basic services like water, a necessity for survival, is borderline criminal. Let's not forget the government's role in perpetuating this crisis. After all, if the authorities aren't maintaining the infrastructure properly or investing in upgrades, whose fault is it exactly when we run dry like Venda during summertime? Now imagine a city where power outages are common and water disappears without warning. In a country where we already struggle with everything, like how Michael Jackson struggled with his skin color, from crime to unemployment, it feels like the last straw we have. We work hard every single day to pay our bills, and then we still get treated like second-class citizens. Why are we being treated like this? Why are we being treated like slaves in our own land? When you're constantly told when you have electricity, when you're told when you can have water, and when you can't, even though you're paying for those services, it feels like a violation of what? You guessed it, basic human rights. It's like we're forced to follow the rules of a dystopian society, only we're the ones holding the bill and jerking their meat. How is it that you're paying for the services you're not even getting? How is it that South Africans who work their asses off to keep their families fed, clothed and housed are expected to deal with this nonsense without a single apology or solution? It's the ultimate fart in the throat and a slap in the face. And yet, the government and Joburg Water sit there, smiling like everything is fine, even though it's a normal part of life to wait for water, like we're living in a rural village in the 1800s. But here's the thing. We're not living in the 1800s. It's not a normal part of life. We live in a first world country, or at least it's supposed to be. Johannesburg is the financial capital of Africa, yet we're still waiting for water like it's some sort of luxury. Let me ask you this. How many of you have had to go a day or two without water and felt completely defeated? I'm talking really defeated, like Messi in the 2014 World Cup. Now imagine doing that for 10 days, and then paying for the service that is supposed to deliver water to you. I'm sure you're thinking what I'm thinking. We cannot discuss this water crisis in Johannesburg without touching on the ugly political undercurrent that fuels it. South Africa has been battling corruption for years, longer than I've been alive, and it's not a secret. Municipalities like Joburg Water have been riddled with inefficiency, mismanagement, and even corruption, with billions of rands, yes, more rands than Kangimbao's body count, going unaccounted for. That is serious numbers right there. So what's the accountability? Where's the accountability? Politicians don't even care about the daily struggles of South Africans. It doesn't seem like it. After all, they've got their clean water and well-maintained systems. We've seen case after case of funds being misallocated, of government officials living in luxury, while the rest of the population, what? They suffer. Joburg Water's failure is just another symptom of a larger disease, one where the people are left behind and the money keeps flowing to the top. The system is so broken, it's a miracle that we even have water to complain about. This gives something for Pastor Mboro to do. Maybe he can go to heaven and call God to give us water. We've had enough of these endless promises from those in charge, okay? They keep assuring us that things will improve. But when? And more importantly, will we still be alive to see it? The basic struggle of human rights here is serious. When the taps run dry, it's a slap in the face to the hard-working people of the city. It's more than just a nuisance. It's an attack on our dignity and a deep fart in the throat. South Africans shouldn't have to struggle for basic services. We shouldn't have to beg for something as fundamental as water. Water! And yet here we are, treating water like it's a VIP guest that shows up only when it feels like it. We're treating water like it's Chris Brown when he's going to come to South Africa. But beyond the frustration lies a deeper issue. Basic human rights are being violated. When you don't have access to clean water, it impacts everything. Your health, your livelihood, and your quality of life. We shouldn't have to ask for what is rightfully ours. But here we are holding up signs at local government offices and buildings, hoping someone will see us through the window and finally take responsibility for the mess that Joburg water has created. I don't know about you, but I say enough is enough. South Africans deserve better than this. We deserve clean, reliable water, and we deserve it now. No more waiting, no more excuses. We need to hold those in power accountable for their failures. We need to demand better infrastructure, better services, and most importantly, respect for their people. So let's stand together and call for change. Demand better governance, demand better transparency, and demand better accountability. Make sure that the water is flowing in your house through your pipes, and your pipes are clean, safe, and constant. And when you face these issues again, we must make sure that we are not alone, that we are not being treated like second-class citizens in our own country. We must not be treated like slaves in our own land. The next time you go without water, remember, it's not just a shortage. It's a sign of the larger issues at play. And if we don't stand up for change now, we'll keep going in so much circles, the taps will keep running dry. Even drier than the Safari Desert. Joburg water, it's time to wake up and smell the clean water. The people of Johannesburg are tired of waiting so long. So what now? We're not just going to sit here and complain. We're going to demand change. We're going to make noise, right? We're going to raise awareness. We're going to keep talking. And we're going to keep pushing until this problem is addressed properly. Which is why this video has to go viral. So share it with your friends. We can't keep living like this, guys. We can't keep pretending that everything is fine, when the reality is that people are suffering here. We have the power to change things. And you have the power to change things. And it starts with holding Joburg water accountable. Let's make sure that the next time we hear about the nonsense called a water shortage, it's not because of a broken system, but because people are finally getting the service they deserve. So here's the future with running taps, clean water, and a Johannesburg that functions the way it's supposed to. Why? Because we deserve nothing less. By the way, I was talking about Chris Brown coming here earlier. Can you imagine his reaction if he were to come here and realize there is no water where he's going to perform?